You put that gun back on and you come out in the street. And then I'm coming back in after you.
For decades, Gunsmoke fans weren't just gripped by the lawman and the outlaws, but by the unspoken tension between Marshal Matt Dillon and Miss Kitty. On screen, their chemistry was undeniable. Off screen, though, the truth was guarded, whispered, and hidden in silence. Now, after decades, James Arness finally broke that silence, and what he revealed about Amanda Blake, the woman who embodied Miss Kitty, left longtime fans stunned. Was it friendship, or was it something deeper? A connection that never found its way into words but lived in every glance, every pause, every stolen moment. When Gunsmoke premiered in 1955, it wasn't meant to be a romance. It was billed as a gritty western where lawlessness clashed with justice and morality was drawn in the dust of Dodge City. Yet, almost instantly, audiences found themselves fixated not just on the gunfights or the outlaws, but on the way Matt looked at Kitty, and the way Kitty looked back. James Arness gave Matt Dillon an unreadable, towering strength. Amanda Blake gave Kitty Russell fire, warmth, and an undeniable presence. From the very first scene, there was something different, something quiet but electric. They never touched, they never openly flirted, but the tension was constant, and it kept millions tuning in week after week for 20 years. Fans searched for clues in every word, every silence, asking, were they in love? And if they were, why hide it? What made it more intriguing was how carefully the show held back. Where other series leaned into romantic storylines to boost ratings, Gunsmoke resisted. The rumors swirled endlessly. Was their chemistry scripted, or was it real? Arness avoided personal questions, sticking to safe ground about westerns and acting. Amanda Blake, ever media savvy, was just as careful in public. She called him a professional. In private, she admitted he was unreachable, yet she always defended their bond as one of the most important in her life. Perhaps they were protecting something fragile, or perhaps Arness himself feared that making the romance real on or off-screen would break what they had. For nearly 2 decades, they filmed side by side, more than 600 episodes, creating one of the most enduring partnerships in television history. And then, just as quietly as it began, it ended. By the early 1970s, Amanda Blake was growing restless. Kitty had stopped evolving. Season after season, she remained behind the bar, waiting for a word from Matt that never came. At last, a script was written to give them the moment fans had waited for, a confession, maybe even a kiss. But CBS shut it down. Gunsmoke was built on grit, not sentiment. Executives feared romance would ruin it. Behind the scenes, whispers suggested Arness himself wasn't comfortable with it either. Amanda Blake took it hard. Kitty was her heart, her pride, and she had given nearly 20 years to the role. But when her long-awaited moment was stripped away, something changed. Her spark was gone. In 1974, she simply walked away. No big farewell, no announcement, just gone. Arness never said a word. His silence spoke louder than anything else. For years after, the mystery deepened. Amanda rarely returned to the spotlight, while Arness kept playing Matt Dillon until the series finally ended in 1975. Dodge City suddenly felt colder. Without Kitty, the emotional core of the show was gone. Yet still, Arness said nothing. Through the 1980s and into the 1990s, Gunsmoke gained a second life in syndication. New generations asked the same old questions. Were Matt and Kitty in love? Did James and Amanda ever admit it? And why did Arness never talk about it? He remained silent until much later. In a rare interview, he finally opened up, calling Amanda the soul of the show and praising her brilliance and strength. He admitted they understood each other in ways few people ever do. But it was too late. Amanda Blake had already passed away in 1989, at just 60 years old. Never hearing his words, her death was a shock to fans who remembered her not as a side character, but as the heartbeat of Gunsmoke. She had long since left Hollywood behind, devoting herself to activism and animal welfare, while Arness continued his guarded, private life. Yet when she was gone, something shifted in him. He had carried his silence for so long, but he began to let small truths slip through. Years later, when a television retrospective asked him to contribute, he didn't agree to appear, but he did something more surprising. He sent a handwritten letter. In it, he shared memories of Amanda's first day on set, how she adjusted her costume, fought for her lines, and gave Kitty her strength. He admitted that during long, grueling days, it was Amanda who kept him grounded. And then he ended with one haunting line: "She always waited for me to say it. I hope she knew anyway." That one sentence said everything fans had waited decades to hear. Not a confession, not a romantic declaration, but something deeper, truth carried in silence, never spoken aloud, but always felt. When word of the letter leaked, fans across the world lit up forums and message boards, dissecting its meaning. Was it regret? Was it closure? Or was it proof that the connection they saw on screen had been real all along? Whatever it was, Arness never spoke of Amanda again. That letter was his final word. As he grew older, James Arness disappeared almost entirely from public life. He turned down memoirs, interviews, even reunion events. Friends who visited him described a quiet home filled with books, photos, and memories of Gunsmoke. Among them was always at least one picture of Amanda, never hidden, always close at hand. To him, she wasn't just a co-star, she was part of the fabric of his life, and even in silence, he honored her. In 2010, just a year before his death, he refused to appear in a reunion but made a single request: that Amanda Blake's name be listed first in the tribute reel. For the woman who left the show without a farewell, it was the quiet acknowledgement she had been denied for so long. When James Arness passed away in 2011, obituaries remembered him as a television legend, a symbol of the American Western. But what they missed was the man behind the legend, a man who had carried a silence for decades, a silence filled with meaning. He left behind no tell-all stories, no revelations, just traces: a letter, a photo, a request. And in those traces, fans found confirmation of what they had always felt: that sometimes the greatest love stories are the ones that never speak. Even now, the legend of Matt and Kitty lingers. Nearly 600 episodes, 2 decades, and not one kiss. But that restraint became their legacy. Fans still debate rumors of a lost scene and a near moment where Matt and Kitty finally shared that long-awaited kiss. Some say the network pulled it. Others claim it was filmed and buried. No proof has ever surfaced, but the mystery itself keeps the story alive. Maybe it never happened. Or maybe it did, hidden away in a forgotten reel. Amanda Blake once hinted cryptically, "Some things are better left unsaid or maybe unseen," and perhaps that's the truth. Some stories aren't meant to end with a kiss. Some truths aren't meant to be spoken. For 20 years, Matt and Kitty gave viewers longing, restraint, and silence, and somehow, that silence said everything. It's why we're still talking about them today, still searching for meaning in the pauses, still imagining the ending we never got, because sometimes love lives not in words, but in what's left unsaid. And sometimes the greatest love stories are the ones that never say a word at all.